Hello, listeners. It's Adam starting the show off as normal, but I thought I'd say a little something today, because I feel like I've not only let Daniel and Alex down, but the listeners as well. Our last episode, which was Bizarre Adventures: Revenge of the Sith, right? Alex started the show off talking about everything to do with George Floyd and that. And I'll admit, and I'm ashamed to admit it, that I was even hesitant to talk about it on the show in the first place. And I didn't say anything at all on the show. I think I just kind of did the whole thing of, we're a sports podcast, we're here to distract from the world. And, that's not right. So first of all, I need to apologize to the listeners, to the people. I mean, they say that silence is just as bad as support. And I apologize for that. So it's to you too, because you are my co-hosts. All our names are on this. And of course, to everyone who is peacefully protesting and all that. Anyone who is out there trying to do the greater good. Excuse me, I have some notes here, so I'm not going to be looking amazingly at the camera for those of you checking out the YouTube channel, but you know what? I was a bit too scared to say anything, and the problem is I have nothing to be scared of. I've never had a police officer look at me sideways. I've never been stopped at an airport for no random reason to be searched. The only interaction I've ever had with a police officer was when in my old high school, Mayfield Secondary School, there was a Walmart across the street. And one time, me and my friend Kyle, another white male, were walking back to class, and a cop stops us, just for the heck of it, and gives us this coupon for a free hot chocolate at a convenience store. That's the only interaction I've ever had, right? So I had no excuse not wanting to say anything. And instead of feeling sorry for myself, I should be advocating for change. And this isn't me kind of pumping the show's tires, but this is easily, I think, the three of ours biggest platforms. To date, the show, in its first kind of almost year coming up, actually, we've gotten 1,000 plays, which, it isn't a massive platform, but again, it's still something, and it's the best platform we have really to show for change. So first of all, again, and I'm sorry to repeat myself, I do have to apologize for that. And the fact is that racism is far and away, I can't put into words just how much of an issue it really is. And again, sorry, I'm trying to keep it all here. You guys know me, I'm not the most well-spoken person. Even on the show, sometimes I will very often follow by my own words here, so I just want to have this here. The fact that officers of the law and, highly influential political actors seem to treat some people's lives without any sort of aspect of care or a little bit of sympathy is sickening. I was watching a video on Instagram or Twitter, and it was a woman talking to a crowd of white people, and they were asked, stand up if you would swap your lives with that of a black person. Or you could really put in any sort of visible minority. And no one was going to stand up. No one did. And the person made the point of, if you're okay with living your life the way it is, why should you, stand by why other people aren't treated the same as, you and I. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. We're all people at heart. It sucks that it has taken the loss of lives for a lot of people to stand up and really start saying stuff. And I mean, I'm not saying there are people who have always, I'm saying there are not people who have always fought for change. I saw a lot of people giving Emma Watson crap on Twitter, even though she is someone who has always stood up against racism and that. So that was a bit much for certain people. And we as people need to come through and change the world for a better together. I'm not 100% on how to do that, but all I know is it starts with everyone doing their part. And instead on focusing on the whole thing of attacking looters and that, we need to promote the people who are peacefully protesting. The ones themselves who are saying, these people who are looting do not represent all of our values. That's a big problem. And again, I mentioned political actors earlier. I'm sure you guys saw on Instagram, I gave Donald Trump a lot of crap because the whole of his staff sort of disrupted a peaceful protest in Washington earlier in the week with tear gas, rubber bullets, everything, just so Donald Trump could go have a photo op in front of a church. By the way, he didn't even ask the church for their permission. They didn't know anything. So that's something that very much sort of hits you in the bone. And it sucks again that I had to see all that to finally say something. A final little note on showing support. You know what? Even if it's something like as simple as a tweet or an Instagram post, it shows that you care and you're here to support if you do the littlest thing. And the more support there is, it's really the better. And again, if all of us try to come together and try and show support, maybe there will be change. I'm confident that there will be. I'm sure you guys are too. And that's everything to me to start. We'll take a short break, and then we'll come back with Bizarre Adventures this week, where we're talking about The Godfather. Thank you, and I apologize again, everyone. Bizarre Adventures, guys, we are back.
We're back. Mamma mia! It's Italian Day.
You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding, and you want to do a podcast.
We are doing a podcast.
For a favor, but how often do you invite me over for coffee? Or call me your godfather?
I can't believe you memorized that line. Like, you've never seen this movie, and that's it's impressive.
Because a movie needs to have an excellent opening scene to get you in, and I thought that was... Because for a second, I thought that funeral guy was the boss, and then it turns around and you see Vito, and you're like, oh dear.
The goat, Marlon Brando.
Yes. Yeah. You know what's really funny? When I looked at the cast, I saw Al Pacino, and I thought, oh, that must be Vito. Oh, no, that's Michael? Yeah. What?
That was his second ever movie.
Yeah, he's so young then.
What a banger. Anyway, guys, we're here to talk about Bizarre Adventures this week. A little later on, I think we're also going to give you guys a little shout about what we're doing for the rest of June for the podcast. Now that we're in it, guys, and the show will be having its 1-year anniversary pretty soon, which is terrifying. And it's really nice that we have Daniel, really here and around for that 1-year anniversary, since you were supposed to be part of it. But I'll hand this over to you, Alex, because this episode of Bizarre Adventures is, of course, yours this week, and we're talking about
The Godfather.
Yes,
The Godfather. In my opinion, this is my favorite movie. It's, I think, the best movie ever. I know Adam probably has other options. It's just mine, okay? It's my opinion. I can have my own opinion.
So my favorite movie is Jurassic Park. We talked about it. Yours is The Godfather. So Daniel, because it's on the docket for your Bizarre Adventures, is the Lego Movie your favorite movie of all time?
I thought that was an all-encompassing one that all of us would enjoy.
Yes.
More Lego, by the way.
You bought more
I did it for
Lego?
The team.
Wait. You ordered more. I went to go see the Lego Movie in theaters, and I have a great story about that.
I've never seen it.
Oh, what? Adam.
Yeah.
The guy that buys new Lego every week?
Come on.
I took a few weeks break, but sorry, I'm distracting Alex. Take it away with this, a classic movie.
Classic movie. So it's made in 1972. It's a period piece. Takes place in the 1940s.
The good old days.
The good old days. I mean, there are some
when we were in university, yes.
When
Daniel was still in law school.
There are some questionable things in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, with everything going on, when they are at the Hollywood director guy, and you see all his staff, I was like, oh, this is a very aged movie.
Yes. It was 1970. It's not right. It's made in 1970. I mean,
like you say, set in the 40s. You realize,
this is directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and it has I absolutely love this cast. Marlon Brando as Vito, Al Pacino, like the original, the OG Al Pacino, as Michael Corleone, James Caan as Sonny, Robert Duvall as Tom Hagen, Diane Keaton as Kate Adams. I feel like I'm definitely missing someone.
John Cazale.
John Cazale.
As Fredo.
Yes, yes. And I feel like I'm missing someone big, and it's gonna piss me off.
Who plays Clemenza?
He's pretty famous. He was in a show with he was like a hold on.
It was who?
He was played by hold on.
Oh, Talia Shear.
Oh,
Who played Connie.
Yeah.
Also in Rocky.
Yeah, Adrian.
Dude, Adrian, we should watch.
We should definitely watch Rocky.
Richard Castellano. He was
so
pretty
talented.
famous in like the 60s. He was in a TV show.
Wait, was that Clemenza?
Yes.
Here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Who played the roadside worker who distracted Sonny when he got killed?
Oh.
The roadside worker. The cop? The cop?
Was he a cop?
In the phone in the booth?
Yeah, who like dropped the coin or whatever. And
I
it was
don't know.
like
I don't know. That's such a specific. Why does
I know. It's just like I don't even know.
Does he look familiar?
No, I just thought, bringing up all these favorite teams, like it'd be like, okay, what was a meaningless character to bring up here?
Yes.
Who played the dead horse head in the director's?
You bring up the horse head. So number one, who the hell pays $600,000 for a horse?
Oh man, as somebody who spent a lot of his youth around horses, and my mother's just gotten a new horse, and so I've been around barns. The money in that, like Secretariat, the movie and that, and like the Triple Crown stuff. Horses, man, those are expensive.
That's a lot of money. But think about in the 40s. In the 40s.
Yeah, I know.
What $600,000? And he's like, even the Tsar wouldn't pay that much.
When did Bobby Orr start playing? Because he was the first player to get $1 million contract, wasn't he?
I'm not sure about that. I think no, it wasn't then. He was in the 40s.
But just as a comparison, like it took till Bobby Orr's time in the NHL to get that much money. So, and again, $600K horse.
So that was actually a real horse head.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
What?
Yeah. They got it. I don't know. Man, that movie was originally supposed to be about $2 million, like a $2 million budget. Right, because my understanding was Paramount Pictures wasn't doing so well in 1972, and they were looking for something low budget. They got the rights to the screenplay for The Godfather, and which is a book, which is based off a book, which is a very good book. It's so much more detailed than the movie. Like I think the second movie, what they originally put together was 6 hours long. Mm-hmm. And they cut it down to 3 hours. It's a very detailed book. And there's so many, like, I think we were talking last night, Adam, and you were saying, what happened here, what happened here, and what happened here. I'm like, man, if you just read the book, all those questions should be answered for you. Which
is my biggest problem with this movie. But we'll get to that.
I know. So I brought her up before, Talia Shear is actually is the director's sister.
Mm-hmm. All right, and sorry, that was Connie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I know I'm not going to say anything. I mean, it was Connie's wedding at the beginning, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, which I found was the funniest scene in the entire movie. I don't know, maybe because it was relatable. Because, like, that's very realistic to how Italian functions happen. Every Italian function happens like that.
I feel like every Italians watch The Godfather and they think that they are. Like, I went to school with a guy named Anthony Petrella.
Yeah.
And he was like...
Petrangelo?
No, sorry. Like, let me finish because I want to be careful here. No. So, like, you know how, like, my friend Anthony, really Italian dude. And like every time he'd get loud or he'd move his hands, he's like, it's because I'm Italian. I'm like,
yeah,
well, dude, you just. And it's like watching The Godfather. I'm like, this is everything my Italian friends say.
Why do you think I move my hands so much when I talk?
Everyone does that though.
No, but
like a mind thing or something like that. It's just.
I know, but if you notice, I don't do it I try not to do as much, but I'll throw, like, during the podcast, I will throw my hands around.
Well, considering how often me and you get into arguments, sometimes I'll just like look away and be like, "Oh, look at Alex." Episode 7 is good, damn it.
Wait, what? Who's good?
Star Wars Episode 7.
Oh.
Tell me about what
again.
I'm not hashing this out with you. We're doing a different movie.
Our adventures to Episode 7. We're gonna have it out.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
I never said it was a bad movie. I said it was an okay movie. I said I didn't like it. That was my thing. I said I did not like it. It was an okay movie, but I think there's issues with it that I don't like. That's my opinion. I never said it was a bad movie.
Before I'm gonna listen back to that.
I might have said it was a bad movie, to be honest, but whatever.
Oh, because you did. Anyway, before Daniel rage quits the comedy because he's sick of us.
I know.
No, like I thought we were talking about the Godfather.
I know. He always wants to move it to Star Wars. This one. Don't even tell me I'm wrong. Don't even tell me I'm wrong.
Wait, there's a veto thing in here. We've all lost limbs in the world of Star. No, I don't. That's that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Lost it.
See.
Okay. So the budget thing. How does that relate to the horse's head?
Oh no, it doesn't. It's just it was supposed to be a low budget movie, and it really did not turn out to be it was a very expensive movie.
So, like, question that's in my mind: how much is a horse's head?
Yeah, so I think they went to a meat I don't know, to be honest. Like they went somewhere, got this head. I don't remember. I read it, and I'm sorry, I can't remember where they got it.
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, look it up. But since you brought up Star Wars, I'll give you my fun fact. So you know the crime montage? It's probably about halfway through the movie after Michael kills the Virgil Sollozzo and he kills the police captain McClucky or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that montage was actually created by George Lucas.
Oh, what? Because of the? Oh no, that makes sense. Yeah, because he did. Lucas Studios did a lot of that kind of stuff, didn't they? A lot of
George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola were friends.
Oh, okay.
That's why he did it. And all the pictures in the newspaper clippings and the pictures that were in that montage were all real. Like those were things that were taken out of newspapers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Like, I sometimes have cool facts, okay?
You always do, don't worry.
So here's okay. We talked about. I think we talked about at the beginning about Marlon Brando is the GOAT. I have two examples of this. So you know Luca Brasi, right? Luca Brasi, big guy. You know who I'm talking about, Adam?
Yes, the guy who ends up sleeping with the fish.
Yes. See, I guess it.
The armor with a fish in it.
Yeah. So you know, at the one of the first scenes in the movie is him going to see Vito, and he's very nervous.
Yes.
Okay, so that wasn't planned at all.
Really?
Yeah. So the actor who is Lenny Montana, he was so nervous about acting alongside Marlon Brando that he actually ended up messing up his lines, and then but at the end of it, Coppola just said, you know what, we're going to use that take because it gave you that presence of who he was, of who Vito was, like his character in the movie. Yeah. So it sets the stage of him being like one of those tough guys. And the same goes, you know, when Vito's in the hospital, the baker comes, Enzo the baker.
Yes.
Same thing goes with that. Like he was shaking.
Wow.
Yeah. And
damn.
Yeah, so it ends up kind of all building that character, Vito Corleone. One more fact, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. Right. Do you notice any similarities between Johnny Fontaine and a certain singer?
Is Frank Sinatra?
Yeah. So,
it wasn't a joke that Sinatra was in the pocket of the mafia?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a joke about that, but that's not true. But Frank Sinatra, he was not happy about about that because everyone just assumed that the character was based off of him.
Well, I mean, it's hard to really like a guy whose most famous song isn't even his. There are 3 different versions of My Way, and the English one's the worst one. Just saying.
So it really wasn't his way.
No. It was. It was. No, I'm not going to go off and talk about how a French guy named Claude Francois was Yachan who made the song, but continue.
No. Yeah, it wasn't. There was a whole. There was a lot of tension between him and the writer of the book.
Yeah.
Because he thought that Fontaine was based off of him, but that wasn't that. Well, that's what the writer Mario Puzo said, but I guess we'll never actually know if that's the truth or not. I'm curious to know who your favorite character is.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Okay, so I actually have,
of course,
3.
Of course.
Well, 1, but 2 honorable mentions. Okay.
Nice joke.
For me, like, I think we've talked about this before, but you guys know, like, I love movies. Marlon Brando is my favorite actor of all time.
Really?
Yes. My favorite movie from him is On the Waterfront. It's actually 1954 when he won his first Oscar before The Godfather. So I really like the guy already, and then like you gotta love Vito. You gotta this was kind of like his comeback in a way, because like the '60s weren't good for Brando, and then they kind of took a risk on him. Fun fact, sorry if I have this, I'll do this for a future Bizarre Adventure, but the way they used Brando for this movie to get it commercialized, this is what Tim Burton did with Jack Nicholson in Batman 1989, because no one trusted Michael Keaton as Batman. More on that with the Lego set later on.
And how's that going?
That's going okay. It's you just got to trust the process. Second is, you got to love Michael in it. Like Al Pacino, young Al Pacino is really he's okay. Like I watched The Irishman a few days ago. It's okay.
Wow, you watched 2 3-hour movies.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah, I just gotta love he's reluctant, but he has he's street smart, but he's also academically smart to kind of be the Godfather. I know Sonny takes it first because he's the oldest, but he's the hothead. And I guess third, who'd be my third? I just love watching Fredo, to be honest. He tries his best. I know what happens to him in the second one and everything, and you kind of don't like him in the second one, but this one it just you love watching it. I didn't ruin it for Adam. Don't worry.
Are you actually? I don't know if are you gonna watch it?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. So
the listeners might.
Okay, if you're listening to this and have not watched Godfather Part 2, stop listening for 10 seconds. So Fredo betrays the family in the second one, and Michael kills him.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, everyone start listening again.
Okay. So yeah, sorry. Yeah, those are my final 3. We have the Marlon Brando, the Funko Pop here. The Marlon Brando up here. Then I have Pacino and John Cazale on the equal level.
The funny, so you bring up Marlon Brando. Did you notice a lot of the scenes that Marlon Brando was in? They were very dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know why that was? Well, there's rumors of why that was.
Was there one because he couldn't there's 2 where he couldn't control his weight, so he didn't want to show it, and then the second one was because his lines were somewhere else. Yeah,
so the line, he didn't memorize his lines. He had cue cards placed on the wall. This was Marlon Brando. This is Marlon Brando. And also because in 1972, they had to still put a lot of makeup on his face. So they didn't put as much lighting so that you wouldn't notice all the makeup. But at the same time, it was kind of strategic because it builds his character. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. Look at smart guys. Adam looks like he wants to say something.
Well, yeah, I get to talk about my favorite character, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's funny you say about that because it's the bright thing of the wedding, and then you go into the dark room when Marlo's or Vito is looking out. He's "Where is my son, Michael? Because he only shows up, when I'm either been shot or the day of his sister's wedding." I had like a bunch of things on certain characters,
Yeah.
and favorite character is good old Tom Hagen. Just he's doing his shady business, but he's not the muscle. Poor guy gets kidnapped and threatened. I was doing a bit of research, and apparently I forget what his exact title was, but he's basically like second in command.
Oh, consigliere.
Consigliere. Yeah, and apparently in the book, it like kills him. Like emotionally, he's a wreck that he loses the position. I just really like his character.
Yeah.
I like he had some great hair. He was just like the reliable confidant character. And
Yeah, he's the right hand. He's the right hand man.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
sorry, go.
No, I just really like the part of like you can tell how it's hard for him to go tell Vito about Sonny.
Yeah.
And it's like he just really adds to the family dynamic, even though he's.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was quite like I think you kind of got the idea, with him, that maybe he wasn't Italian, right? He wasn't Sicilian, and I think that was they don't talk about it as much, but if you in the book, they go in a little more detail. Like usually, like your right hand man is Sicilian, and for him not to be Sicilian was a very big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was just that good,
and he was German Irish.
Yeah.
Just that.
Well, it was him who went to the
Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Where's that from? Hollywood. Is that Family Guy?
I have no idea. I just hit the way it came out of my mouth.
Hollywood. Who's your favorite character, Alex? Or did you say sorry?
No, I didn't. I think it's really Vito and Michael, and I think because as the movie goes on, this was just really my impression, is you really see this somewhat like similar traits in them. Like he does, like you look at Vito, right, and even the way he talks to Sollozzo when he first meets him, and he's saying all these nice things, and you can tell that it's the good versus the bad. It's like, yeah, it's organized crime, but he's a really nice guy.
Oh, there's that part in the beginning where they're meeting him. And they're meeting the original. I'm sorry, I had a really tough time remembering, but when they're having that original meeting about the narcotics and that,
yeah.
And Sonny said something out. He's like, "So you're telling me they can get?" And his dad stops him, and afterwards, Vito says, "Never let someone else outside the family know your thoughts."
Yeah.
And then later on, when Michael is meeting the guy in Las Vegas,
yes,
and speaks out, and and Michael mirrors that and says the same thing to Sonny. He's like
to Fredo.
No,
Fredo.
Yeah, to Fredo, sorry, and says never side with someone outside the family ever again. Like you see, like Sonny may have been the oldest and he was the one running it, but like Michael was very, very clearly Vito's son. Like
yes.
He is Vito's son.
Like you really see it in Sonny that, yeah, you know what, he can be the boss. But he's so hot-headed, right? Like his dad gets shot, and then he's like, I'm not gonna do anything. And then Michael, or I don't remember who shows up, but he's like, yeah, we took out the Tatalias this morning. I'm like, God damn, Sonny, you're starting a war. And then that's when you really feel bad for Tom Hagen, because he goes, if I had a wartime Sicilian, if I had a wartime consigliere, we'd all be fine. And then I felt bad.
Yeah, and then he's like, and see what I got stuck with. And it's like, Tom's a good guy.
You feel bad for him.
Tom Hagen.
But yeah, like I think you really see throughout the movie, like at the beginning, Michael's kind of this guy who's really outside of the family, in a way. Like his dad wants him there, but the actual family business, he's not there. But then as the movie keeps going, you really start to see that Michael is kind of the perfect one to replace Vito, because it just fits him well.
Mm-hmm.
And and it feels like Vito knew that.
Mm-hmm.
All along, it felt like he knew that, because he always wanted Michael to do something better than be part of the business. I don't know if you got that impression. Like he said he wanted Michael to do better than the business. He used like to talk about senator or governor or whatever that may be. but it's like it felt like he knew that Michael was the right one.
Daniel?
Yeah, I felt that too. Like that scene with the Brando and Pacino outside near the garden. That one was like, perfect. Where he, like Vito points out, where who's gonna ask you to come for peace talk is the one who betrayed you.
Yeah.
And it was Salvatore Tessio.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene was great. Like that was like one time where we actually see Brando outside.
Right.
And it kind of like does point out like that, I guess, like duality between both characters in a way. And then like even though Michael's kind of reluctant to it, when he comes back from Sicily, it's just like it's a whole different thing. It's pretty funny. My friend and I, when we were like probably in like high school or something, we were always so sad when Apollonia gets killed.
I mean, man.
You gotta do.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, man. Like, this movie didn't need to be 3 hours long.
It could have been longer.
Alex, I'll let you ask all your questions, then I'll criticize.
No, I was just gonna say, is there anything like, were there any scenes that stood out the most to you?
Oh, sorry. If Adam is okay, if I go.
Yeah, no.
So this, it just, okay, like this is not like an iconic scene, but it just made me laugh a lot, even when I was like younger. Where I'm like, man, that line was delivered so weirdly.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know who I am? I'm Mo Green. I was. I buy
you. Oh, I was. I
was making. Wait, let me say.
Something money when you were kissing in high school.
Oh yeah, I got it.
I was dating
like,
cheerleaders.
Yeah, it's like, I'm Mo Green. I was making my bones when you were dating cheerleaders. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah,
I never like that. Like even now, I'm just like, it's such a serious part, but like the way that line is delivered.
For sure, Adam.
I mean, the scene where Michael ends up killing the police chief and the what family is he part of? The police chief and then the other.
Solazzo. He's separate. He's not part of any family yet. Like, he's just this guy who comes in and says, "Hey, I can get you into the narcotics business."
Okay, sorry. So when Michael kills both of them,
yeah,
it's like I got kind of confused because they were going to Jersey. They turn around, so I thought, wait, so are they going to a different place? But then like he gets the gun anyway, right? And I'm thinking, all right. I didn't think he was going to do it because like it felt like this was a climax of the movie, and then he does it, and you're like, oh. But like, I love how you can. It's a very like you can tell Michael's transformation. I think it is a bit kind of disjointed, but we'll talk about that later. But how at this point he doesn't drop the gun right away. He gets they tell him shoot them both in the head twice, but he shoots the cop in the throat and then has to go again to get him in the head, and then like you can just tell how shaken up he is, and like along with like the train coming by, it really like that was the point of the movie where I'm like, all right, I get why this is good. That and like I know you guys were sad that Apollonia died, but man, I don't know how I felt because it was like Apollonia, no, and it's just this comically 70s explosion, like
yeah.
I mean, I didn't really care for that whole sequence in Sicily because it was like, finds cute girl, gives the family a bunch of gifts and that. Oh, they're married. What happened? Oh, and now I've been back in New York for a year. But like, definitely the scene where Michael like really spills blood for the first time is one that stood out for me.
Yeah, for me, it was. There's two scenes, and it's the first scene, the very first scene in the movie with the funeral parlor and the. And Vito, right? And I think it sets the stage for the movie in saying, "Hey, this guy's the big boss. Like, you don't mess with this guy, because if you mess with this guy, bad things are gonna happen." But the last scene of the movie with the door closing and him really becoming and Michael really becoming the boss. It kind of, for me, it set shivers. Like the first time I got goosebumps because it was like, man, like it kind of, for me, it felt like, man, that set the scene for the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I really now want to go watch the second movie, but it's also 3 hours long, and I don't know if I have that time.
It's okay. We're not leaving the house.
That's true. That's true. I'll watch it in parts.
See, I actually thought it was a very good, because obviously I know there are a few Godfather movies, but like I looked at it and I thought, man, that's just like a really good way to really just end a movie. And from what I hear about The Godfather is the first two are good, and then it's kind of like you should have left it alone.
Yeah.
Kind of like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
That the first one's amazing. The second one's good, and then the rest of them's like, oh, they're pretty bad.
Yeah, the first two are based off the book.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then the third one's kind of off script.
You know what's funny?
What?
First two Jurassic Park movies, both based off books.
But movies based on books, always better.
Jaws, first one, the rest of them, garbage. No books. And you didn't have Spielberg. Or Mike, or Dreyfuss. But,
Yeah, it was... Even if they didn't have a second Godfather, that's like the most jaw-dropping ending of all time. Because it's like, what the hell? Like, you kind of want to know what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the relation... For me, the weirdest relationship in the movie, and I don't know if this was the same for you guys, was between Michael and Kate.
It just didn't fit. I don't know.
Because it felt like it didn't fit. But it weirdly kept going throughout the movie.
That's why I kind of like... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Daniel.
Oh, no, like what I kind of felt was... Like, it is what I always kind of thought, but I think it was just because, like, I just didn't like Diane Keaton in this movie, to be honest. But that whole part when he goes to Sicily to hide, it's kind of like when he ends up with, like, Apollonia and does all that stuff, it's kind of like, you know, the Sicilian tradition. Kind of like, this is the trajectory of how his life is supposed to be. And then when he goes back to Kay, it's just kind of like something where he kind of works up. And I remember, like, I don't know, because I read the book, but it was a really long time ago. And I can't remember if he expresses that, like, Apollonia was like his true love or something.
I don't remember. I haven't.
Like,
I got through part of the book and then I got busy, so I stopped reading it. But now I want to read it again.
Like, I think there's a part where he says that, like, that first marriage in Sicily was, like, supposed to be the one,
right?
Not Kay. And then, like, when all things just kind of mess up and she dies and he goes back to New York to be the boss, then, like, it's like he's picking up the pieces again.
Yeah, it felt like he loved Kay, but the family business.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see it throughout, like, she always asks him about the business, and he's like, I'm not going to tell you about my business.
He'll be legitimate in 5 years.
Yeah, more like 25. Literally, the third movie is all about that, man. Such a ridiculous movie. Leave it alone. See, the third one's not awful. Like, it's not a garbage movie. It's just not as good as the first two.
Yeah, like, the standard
That's
was
the
just way
issue.
too high.
Yes. The standard was way too high.
Sorry, before we, like, move on, I just remembered another scene that was my favorite that I didn't like as a kid, but then when I read a backstory, I think before getting ready for this episode, I just remember, you know what part where Marlon Brando, like, Vito comes back from the hospital and they have to bring him up the stairs? Apparently, Marlon Brando, as a joke, put bricks with him on the stretcher, and he didn't tell anyone, and then they had to carry him. That's why they're actually struggling to bring him up the stairs while they're filming.
Oh. And then you wonder why they said Marlon Brando was such a pain to work with.
Yeah, apparently it was, like, really difficult.
But I wonder why.
Man, he should get the Gordon Bombay Award for You're carrying me upstairs when I pick up some bricks. What a dick. Man, that's great.
Okay.
Mind if I say some stuff about that Apollonia stuff?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I'm of a very strong opinion when talking about this movie that the book doesn't matter. Which is rich for me because I'm Mr. Star Wars. Well, this happened in the extended.
Yeah.
But, like, man, that whole Sicily stuff just didn't do anything for me. Bit of technical difficulties there. Just picking up where we left off, though. The Sicily scene just didn't do anything for me. I didn't really even feel at all bad for Michael because, like, you don't even get to see him react. And the worst part is, after Apollonia's death, like, the next scene is Vito calling on all the Dons in the meeting, like, my son is in Sicily and I have to arrange to bring him back. And then it's a year later, and Michael's going out after sorry, what was the other girl's name? His
Kate.
original
Kate.
He goes after Kate, right? And it just kind of feels like, all right, Apollonia, I guess you were just like a one-stop thing. Like the whole Sicily thing just felt like a mess to me.
Yeah, for me, it's
Go ahead,
weird
sorry.
because the book is so detailed. Like, and I know you say the book doesn't matter, but I think in this case, you should definitely read the book. Because the book is so much more detailed that the movie for sure could have been 4 hours long if they wanted it to be. If they include they talk about, one thing they take out of the book is, I don't know if you noticed, one of the first scenes where you see Michael and Tom, after Tom leaves, he says to Kay he's going to be the next consigliere. So at that point, he's not even the consigliere because the guy Vito has now is all but dead. Like, he's very sick.
Oh.
Right? So they don't explain that. And there's certain other things, like they talk about a little more about Sonny. They talk about his character in the book. Like, they kind of explain all the characters in the book. And I guess it was a little hard to do that in the movie because it was already 3 hours long.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, like, you can cut some stuff because this didn't need to be 3 hours.
But see, you're missing all.
Yeah.
You're asking all these questions you don't know the answers to, and then if you take stuff out, you'd have even more questions. That's the issue with this movie: is there's so much content. There's so much content that there can be even more content. Like, they could have made like 4 movies if they really wanted to, made them 2 hours long on just the actual book alone.
So, I'm thinking about it like this, though. Like, such a big thing in this movie was about revenge and stuff.
Yeah.
Sonny's going after Carlo for what he's doing to his sister and all that.
Right.
How, like, the effect it takes on Vito. And then when I see this guy, and also you see, what was his name? Clementa kill the guy who apparently helped out the assassination plot, even though that was a bit confusing.
Oh, Paulie?
Paulie, yeah. Which, like, I was kind of lost because for a second I thought, is Clementa the traitor? What's going on? But I looked it up, like, no. But, so what was I saying? See, you see all this, like, what revenge means, and then all of a sudden, it stood out very much for me that this guy has just tried to kill Michael, and we never see him again. And it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
That was a big problem for me.
Yeah, and I wish. See, the thing is, I wish they went more into. They talked more about Sicily, but I'm like, what part would I take out? I'm like, I literally can't think of any other part. And I think the part about Sicily has more meaning in the second movie than it does in the first movie, because they explore Vito in the first. They explore more about Vito in the first movie and his move from Corleone, Sicily, to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you kind of hear he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to Corleone. And you're like, but that's his last name. And then you find out they just messed up his, like, in the second movie, they messed up his, his, what, I don't remember what it was that he got when
his immigration.
His immigration card status. And they wrote Vito Corleone because they just didn't care. So I think that they put Sicily in there to say, hey, they have the same last name. It was like, I don't know, but I'd love to know more. I wanted to know more about Sicily when I watched the movie, so I get what you're saying. Okay. But I don't see how the movie could get shorter.
That's fair enough. Maybe I have a thing, because even when I watch Avengers Endgame, I don't watch all of it. I'm kind of like, whatever. I don't need to see Ant-Man eating tacos. Can I just get some travel, please?
That's my favorite part.
That's true.
I'll see Captain America compliment his own ass, but I shouldn't have said. Oh, I swore. I'm sorry.
It's not a bad word. I hear them. They say it on radio all the time. Okay, not a big deal.
Brian Burke. Well, let me tell you about those two. No, I was about to do John Tortorella, actually. They're 2 dang stars. Okay, can I ask you guys? Sorry, just because this is Adam being a bit critical.
That's okay.
Did I miss? Sorry.
Critical Adam.
Critical Adam. Adam Critical Flooge. So the beginning part, did I miss a part where they specifically told Clemenza to kill the guy who was part of the plan? Because the way I saw it, and maybe I missed it, he's going to get his cannoli, and all of a sudden he
you
kills
missed
Buddy.
it. You missed it.
That's this.
So
Okay.
it's Sonny, Michael, Clemenza, and Tessio. They're all sitting in Vito's office, and Paulie comes in and says, "Hey, there's a package." Right? Paulie's the guy coughing.
Yeah, and then that was the fish, right?
Yeah. Then Paulie leaves. And Sonny turns to Clemenza and says, "Take care of that guy." He probably said a little more aggressively with a added word. And he's talking about Paulie.
And, okay, so that was Paulie. All right, makes sense.
Because Paulie was sick 4 times the last 3 months.
All right,
makes sick.
Makes sense.
Oh, I just realized my camera's not on, and I can't. Okay.
That's all right. We're just gonna get to look at a pylon here, eh?
Look great.
It says there's no cam. That's okay. Just keep.
Dion?
I'll fix it. I'll fix it as you guys are talking.
All right.
Daniel. Let me ask you something. Did you laugh as much as I did when the horse's head was in the thing? Because I knew it was coming because I've heard of it, and then when you just see the guy in the bed, I'm like, man, don't tell me this is gonna be, and then it happened.
I get 2 things with it. Where growing up, before you see it, it's such a cliche thing in all media that you're gonna know the horse's head is gonna be there. Just the build up to it too.
Yeah. Sorry, more technical difficulties. I see the Kylo Ren shuttle behind Alex, and I think the dark side of the Force don't want us to talk about this movie. And let me clarify this. Without knowing it was a real horse's head, because I didn't know that first watching it, did you get a bit of a laugh out of the goofiness of they just put a horse's head in a dude's thing just because he wouldn't cast their Frank Sinatra ripoff in the movie?
And how do you not wake up to that commotion?
Yeah.
The smell alone, though.
Yeah.
Even just the blood. There's literally blood everywhere. Did they knock him out and put the horse's head there and he just woke up? Was he absolutely just drunk and didn't hear any of this?
Oh, so can I ask you guys a question? Because I noticed this the most at the Hollywood scene. Okay, is it me, or does this film love the kind of blurred transition?
Yeah. That was
really bothering me. Here's them outside, and now it's sunset, and between the transition, they're having the same conversation. So wait, what's going? The editing was a bit strange at times. The more the movie went on, it got better, but at the beginning, it felt like a bit of a mess. It's swooshy It's like Star Wars is the only movie that uses notable kind of goofy transitions of the spinaroo, but the Godfather just loves that fade away effect.
There's a joke with that one where when Vito asks when he's sick, he's like, "Where's Michael?" And then he fades into Sicily, and his mustache becomes the tree when they're in Sicily.
Man,
I did not notice that.
Yeah, that's something I found out recently.
I did not notice that. One thing I read online is that the camera, from the point of view, it's relatively similar for the entire movie. Mm-hmm. It's about, I think they said it was 4 feet. The entire movie.
I think they needed Gary Gold on the scene.
What?
I think they needed Gary Gold on the scene.
Hey man, everyone loved it. The only time it was different was when Vito got shot, and it was from above, and the justification for that was I don't remember who told Coppola this, but they said it's from the point of view of God.
By the way, can we talk about how bad those assassins are? That they had him point blank and they couldn't get the job done?
Did he kill him? Yeah, he just dropped the oranges.
Especially in the 40s, I thought that'd be, you're kind of done there.
No, apparently.
Especially because it's the 40s, so wouldn't your best doctors be overseas? Dealing with the war.
Hey, they have the mafia has their own doctors. Okay.
Apparently, I know. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
That scene was I remember reading. That's an establishing scene of Fredo's incompetence because he couldn't even get the gun out.
Yes. And I think it scars him for the rest of the series. And I think it really changes. Like, you even see it. Yeah, he was a little fidgety even at the beginning of the movie. But literally after that, the scene when he's at the scene where when they're at home and he's in the room with his brothers and Tom. And then when he's in Vegas, he gets fidgety too. And then he just becomes reckless. And then he does that thing, and then something happens to him.
Michael, Sonny was a hothead, but it was meant for him and Fredo. I was waiting for him to make a joke, and he just didn't even say anything about Fredo.
I know, he's like, Fredo's.
He knows.
I was waiting to say, he's like, and you know Fredo, he's kind of an idiot. Kind of fairly Disney thing when I was shot 6 times point blank at Iraq because he survived. It's the day of my daughter's wedding.
That's a Family Guy, the day of my daughter's wedding. I remember that.
Yeah, it's nice to get where that's from now.
Adam, do you have any other concerns or questions? I know you had questions.
Okay, so why exactly do they leave Law? Because at first it seems like they're running away from New York. Then you get the plan, but then at the end they're still moving away from New York, even though they've just taken out the rest of the crime bosses. And wouldn't you want to establish control instead of going to Vegas? Or is this a second movie book thing I'm missing?
No, it's more the second movie. The second movie is more about establishing in Las Vegas.
But would you... I'm no mafioso.
So say that again?
But wouldn't you want... I'm no mafioso.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm not a capo or anything like that. I'm not the supporting lieutenant. By the way, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5 is all about a mafia thing, so that's why I'm shoehorning in as many terms as I can. But that's just me. I would think that you would want to establish the city that you've just now caused a bunch of, like, criminal unrest because you've just taken out all the other dons.
Yeah.
Unless there's a if I'm missing, but...
Well, they want to become legitimate, so they're trying to get out of the game anyways. And I guess they were worried that Barzini and Tatalia and the other bosses were going to interfere with that.
Mm-hmm.
So they took them all out, and they took Mo Green out, so they can buy him out. The casino, because I'm guessing at that point, gambling was becoming legal. I don't know. No, maybe not. I don't know.
That was like at a time where, like, after Prohibition, where the casino industry started becoming a lot, like, because it was established by the mafia basically in Vegas.
So Daniel, you lived through Prohibition. What was it like
That's so mean, Adam. That's so mean. Not called for.
Aren't you only like 24 too?
Not called for.
I was there when Patrick Waugh was drafted.
Yeah.
I just finished at U of T.
Ooh! Alright.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Daniel. Were you going to say something?
What do we say? Oh, yeah, with the casino industry. And I think, like, they moved to Vegas. Because by that point, the majority of, like, when they want to be legitimate, like Alex said, everything was kind of in Vegas at that point. All of, like, their business ventures.
Yeah. Alright. Let me just double check the little notes.
That's your answer.
So, who was the guy who came? What was his name again? One of the capo. I'm assuming he was a capo.
Capo regime.
Yeah, the one who at the end was the one that was clearly the traitor, and he's
Tessio.
like, Tessio. So it didn't really. I didn't really care it was Tessio because he didn't really get that much of a spotlight compared to the others. That's a little complaint I have. It's like maybe there would have been like if it was Tom. Obviously, that's not. And I'm sure if I read the book, there'd be a lot more. But if it was Tom, I'd be like, no, Tommy, I love you. Or if it was Clemenza.
Well, like
if it was Clemenza, it'd be huge.
Yeah,
I think with like Tessio, because like Clemenza and Tessio are like two of the guys with like veto. Mm-hmm. So like it's kind of true. Like it didn't really show it too much in the movie, but he is like a long time figure within the family, and then the fact that the part where he's like, "Please tell Michael it's strictly business." I always liked him. Yeah,
and because it was Tessio. Yeah, because it was him and Clementa wanting to go start their own family,
Yeah.
and it was like in Downton Abbey. I know Downton Abbey. There's a point where the reins start going from was it Michael Crowley? I can't even remember. No, Robert Crowley to his heir Matthew, right? But then the groundskeeper is kind of like was more of like the guy to Robert's father, and he would never listen to Robert. And it's kind of like maybe Tessio had this thing of like, listen, Vito said, listen, I'm not the head of the family, so if you want to leave, give it to Michael. And Michael even said like, hey, after we go to Vegas, go do your thing. And Tessio just couldn't have been patient. He's like, no, I'm going to try and turn it on. But then Michael was having none of it. It's like, no, buddy, I've got you covered. Don't worry.
Well, that's how the mafia works. You screw them over once. There's no 3 strikes are out. There's 1 strike, I kill you.
Matt, how did Carlo not know when Clemenza was in the car? Hey, Carlo.
Oh, he knew.
And you were trying to kill him. Like,
What, you even saw it with Paulie. Paulie knew. As soon as one guy got in the back, he's like, I'm done. He's like, hey, sit on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
That was...
Cover the back mirror there. Jesus Christ.
I think let me talk about like the Tessio part too. I think it's because remember when like they're alluding to it where when Michael kind of takes over, it's really kind of uneven and like they said, like the Corleone family, it's like a declining power in New York.
Mm-hmm.
It was the kind of thing where it just, I think Tessio just, same. Like you said, he got impatient and, it's a kind of thing where you kind of scramble for each piece before everything kind of all falls apart.
Yeah.
Every empire, literally. Yeah.
Except the Galactic Empire.
The Galactic Empire.
Yeah, they've got a lot. Emperor dies, whatever. First Order's a thing. First Order get destroyed like 3 times, it's fine.
Yeah.
Palpatine's back, woo, and has like a convoy of Death Star Destroyers.
Oh, you mean...
Yeah, if you want to say...
you mean...
Yeah, if you want to say plot holes, yeah, that,
Sorry, we couldn't... The first 2 movies didn't bring back old Star Wars fans. Okay, let's bring back a dead character. That's what happened.
For no reason, except if you, like, apparently read the, what is it? The official novelization of it.
That's so... I hate when people tell me with movies that, like, well, if you watch... Apparently in the official Revenge of the Sith novelization, you hear what R2 thinks, and it's like, wait, what? Like, I get, even as a Star Wars fan, I get annoyed when someone's like, well, in the novelization, I'm like, man, like, listen, if it's a hardcore movie, like, I'll defend Jurassic Park in the book, Alex the Godfather. Daniel, I'm sure that there was a Lego instruction book that you're like...
Why am I the Lego guy now?
You said, okay, what's your favorite movie?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
I actually have a list of, like, 10. Godfather and Back to the Future are in the top 3, though.
That's true.
What's the other one that hasn't been listed? He has it written down.
Let me have it written down.
He has it written down. Okay, Adam. Before, what were you gonna say?
What was it? I just hate when people's like, at some point, if you're looking at a movie by itself, like, like Revenge of the Sith, I think we tried our best to, look at like the extended stuff in like the universe and also what it was as a movie.
Yeah.
And I hate when you're just talking a movie and someone's like, well, it's explained how Palpatine's alive when it comes to the novelization. How hard is it to just put the scene of like something of him coming back? You're Star Wars. You have time.
Yeah.
Apparently, like according to IGN, they had that part in the beginning showing how he came back, but then apparently the writers felt that that wasn't needed, and then everyone said, "Well, yeah, it kind of was. How did he come back?"
They put the speech he had on Fortnite. They put their market. This is The Godfather. I'm not going to go off about.
See, that's why The Godfather, the length is perfect for it. Tells us what we need to know.
It could be longer. That movie could be 5 hours. I'd sit and watch it.
I'd still watch it, yeah.
It felt a lot longer than 3 hours to me. I had to stop and be like, I need...
It did not. It did feel 3 hours to me. Maybe I'm just being biased, but...
Like,
There's a break in between, though.
Listen, I have to skip Sicily.
The second one had an intermission in it. Had an intermission. Imagine going to see a movie and it says intermission.
That Ben-Hur is in a movie like that. It's like 7 hours and has an intermission on it.
Yeah, Lawrence of Arabia as well.
Yeah, well, but no, like my like sort of last thing on this movie is, in a perfect world, I wouldn't make this a movie. And maybe like this is in hindsight very much, but like today, if you really wanted to, you could make this like a really wicked multi-part series on Netflix.
I don't think I think I'd watch that, but I think you look at how beloved. Like, yes, The Irishman had its problems.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of it was with the edit, like the actual CGI. And I don't know why you would try CGI on Robert De Niro. That was quite stupid. But I think it was a real, like, everyone loved the movie, and it was 3 hours long.
I did not see a lot of people saying they. I saw
a lot of people saying they loved the movie.
I think there's two things you could look at this. Okay, so
probably
the way
the
I kind of
people
see
in Montreal.
these.
It was definitely the people in Montreal who said they didn't like it.
Okay, no, hold on a minute. I'm saying better.
Oh,
you can't tell me a movie about mafiosos and revenge is like good enough as a movie when somebody trying to kill the guy who's about to be the boss tries to kill him, kills his wife, goes away, and there's no consequence. Well, I'm saying, as a fact, The Godfather would be better as a multi-part series than as a movie. It doesn't need to be 3 hours. It feels longer than 3 hours.
That's not a fact. That's an opinion.
Montreal. Don't do that with me. Even you're trying to poke fun, don't do that.
That's not a fact. I don't agree with that.
As the neutral voice here, what I try to talk about is I think there's two differences between like when we talk about an epic like The Irishman now and an epic like The Godfather, where that was a career-defining thing for Coppola. That was also when he was doing The Conversation,
right?
And it's before he did Apocalypse Now, and this is like what built his career. I kind of see like Scorsese is like The Irishman. It's different because it was like self-indulgent in and of itself, where you see Scorsese kind of just going, I already have this track record. Let me just put in everything I absolutely love into one huge 3-hour thing. So I think,
but that's also a very Scorsese type movie.
It is,
like even if you go watch Goodfellas, right? Goodfellas with Scorsese.
That one's
it's just a long ass movie.
Yeah, it just I think with like The Irishman, like the way the timeline he kind of did it too. It was like a different feel to it. But so I just want to say something so we don't get into a huge argument.
I'm not getting into a huge argument. I'm done. I just said it wasn't a fact. I said it was an opinion.
Are we driving manual?
We're driving manual.
Okay.
Stick shift.
The garbage truck's outside, so I can't really talk.
Like stick shift like the DeLorean?
Oh yeah.
And you say about arguing it, like when you try and say something like, well, in Montreal they didn't like, come on.
Well, I think I saw Andrew Berkshire say he didn't like it, so that's Montreal to me.
He hates the Habs!
What? He's a Nordiques guy?
No, he doesn't. He writes about the Habs. That automatically like them.
John Liu, maybe he likes the movie. We gotta ask him. You have to ask him to come on the show.
Matt, by the way, I want to get something up about that quickly. Sorry, there were two members of Montreal staff that were let go. I feel terrible. I can't remember their names, but it was really, really important. Actually, they were the two media coordinators, and they were very much like John Liu said he suspected one of them were behind the Habs sending flowers. So I think it was the passing of one of John Liu's family members. So let me just keep going about why this movie should be longer when it clearly shouldn't be.
Well, I think that's just your opinion, though.
That's fair.
That's fair, right, Daniel? It's opinion.
Yes.
I'm just gonna talk quiet for the rest of the episode.
Oh no.
I can't find this thing, John Liu.
Anyways, so yes, Godfather is in the top 5 of my favorite movies, but I can't pick a number 1.
Of course. I understand.
I actually have a list of. It's pretty funny. I made a working top 10 list of movies. Godfather's up there, but
so we're gonna watch all of them, right?
This list ended up being 15 movies out of a top 10 for a top 10.
Daniel, I think we're gonna have to. Like people have swear jars. I think Daniel needs an honorable mention jar.
Yeah.
But if you hit 50 honorable mentions, you have to buy me a Lego set.
A Lego set? All right. I get to choose it?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Or Alex gets to choose it. And then when I have to buy one for Alex, you get to choose it.
All right. By the way, so this is from John Liu a few days ago. The Habs just dismissed their two main media relations staff, Dominique Salon and Francois Marchand. Two professionals, respectful men who worked in difficult jobs. They will be missed. That's tweet 1 of 2. And 2 of 2 from John Liu. I never knew for sure, but I suspect Dominique Salon helped arrange flowers to be delivered on behalf of the Habs to the church at my parents' funerals in 08 and 09. He is a good man. I will never forget those kind of compassionate gestures. Yeah, I bet, that's just a thing I wanted to say. Because, of course, with COVID and everything, it's still being affected, those big leagues. And being really media relation in Montreal, I think maybe the most difficult job in the NHL. So,
yeah, you get harassed in English and in French. Wrong?
No, not at all.
No. Okay, Adam, why don't you tell everyone what we're doing in June?
All right, guys. So June, we need to. And while I'm just doing this, Alex, can you please look up the day we uploaded our very first episode, please?
1 second here.
Of course, we have every Wednesday our adventure. Every Sunday is a hockey episode in some way, shape, or form. Unless something massive happens and we turn around. Today is the 3rd, of course. Alex shows The Godfather. This Sunday, we are finally, guess what we're doing? Another redraft.
No.
We're going to be talking about the 05 draft, a.k.a. Bobby Ryan, Carey Price, and... yeah. Then on the 10th, it's Bizarre Adventure, Daniel's turn. We're going the Lego movie. The 14th is another episode of Retro Hockey to be determined. Probably a redraft. On the 17th is My Bizarre Adventure. We will be watching Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a romance, it's a Christmas, and a Halloween movie, and has some of the best songs in Disney. The 21st is another episode of Retro Hockey to be determined. Bizarre Adventures on the 24th for Alex, yet to be determined. And on the 28th, again, to be determined, Retro Review. Ideas are starting to go a little scarce. COVID's taking shape, but we'll figure something out. We'll keep you updated.
Keep going.
Our first episode was July 7th.
July 7th?
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Okay, so next month. July 7th. Let's see what day July 7th falls under. It's a Tuesday. That's annoying.
So we'll do it on the Wednesday. That's our celebration.
Why don't we do it on the Tuesday, though? Why don't we just do it on the actual day?
That is true. We can do that. Are we going to try to do... Are we going to watch the draft lottery?
I think we
record an episode?
Yeah.
A special.
Like stream it or something. Well, not stream it because no one checks out the YouTube channel. Do that, people.
I'm just gonna put it on my TV.
But why don't we just like record ourselves on Skype watching it and just see what happens?
Yeah, and then we'll do a redraft.
No, we're not.
With the first overall pick, the New Jersey Devils will select
Vasilev. Is it Vasilev or Vasilov?
Yaroslav Askarov.
Big Halak fan.
Come on.
Brodeur of Russia.
Wow, that's a big statement.
An overrated defenseman with some good defensemen in front of him? Goalie with defenseman in front of him?
No.
Yeah.
That's the most wins.
Words like Patrick Elias. Just saying.
Martin Brodeur overrated? What? Question mark?
Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, let's say you're listening to it on YouTube. If you're listening to this on any other site, be sure that maybe try and check out the YouTube version because you get to see video. We kind of dressed up a little more fancy for the Godfather thing and all that, so maybe we can continue to like Daniel has a solid blazer and a Raptor shirt. Alex has a nice dress shirt and a blazer on. So go check out the YouTube channel. We gotta get it going, guys. And again, if you're staying on the iTunes, the Spotify, follow the show on iTunes, leave a review, a rating, wherever you can do that kind of stuff. Let us know what are your thoughts on The Godfather. Should it be 3 hours? Should it be 5 hours? Is it good?
Hours.
Is it bad? No. Is Martin Brodeur a good goalie? Is he not? Is Patrick Elias better than John Tavares? That's a debate we could have. Who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame more, Patrick Elias or John Tavares? And Patrick Elias is a Hall of Famer, by the way. And we will see you on our next episode on Sunday when we look at the 2005 NHL entry draft.